Good morning and welcome to Newsware's Trade Talk for Monday, April 27th. Okay, let's get into the action and take a look at the S&Ps, which are trading higher. We're up 0.04%. It's really a muted positive opening, is what it appears it's going to be. I mean, the geopolitical issues are still out there, and but the earnings, this is like the biggest week for earnings that we're going to have for the year. So these two cross currents are keeping the sentiment essentially in check. I mean, you think about over the weekend, what happened over the weekend? You know, there were talks about a U.S. and Iranian conversations. They were supposed to take place. Well, you know, Iran didn't meet with anyone in the U.S., but through the mediators, they are indirectly communicating. They are floating a proposal about reopening the Strait of Hormuz, you know, in order to continue the de-escalation framework. But on the same front, they want to push back the nuclear discussions for now, and that's going to be an issue for the Trump administration. So I don't think that they're going to be warming up to that type of ploy because, you know, the whole one of the main issues was the nuclear issue. So we're going to have to wait and see. There's going to be a meeting in the Situation Room where this will be discussed. But we'll have to wait and see what comes out of that. On the economic front, Republican Senator Thom Tillis, he agreed to, you know, drop his objection to the Kevin Warsh Fed nominee for Fed chair. So, you know, that should solidify him as the next Fed chair. I mean, and tomorrow we get the start of the FOMC meeting. So this could be, you know, Jerome Powell's last meeting. We'll have to wait and see. What else do we have in corporate news? China blocked Meta's acquisition of Manus. Qualcomm jumps this morning on news that it's working on a smartphone processor with OpenAI. Eli Lilly's doing a deal there in the merger, doing a merger with a smaller firm. What else do we have? Domino's Pizza. You know, they did a buyback. They announced a buyback. You know, their earnings weren't great. Stocks trading lower after earnings. Well, Verizon's trading higher. But tomorrow morning, we got earnings reports coming out from Coca-Cola, Novartis, Spotify, General Motors, Hilton Hotels, and Corning. They're all scheduled to report tomorrow morning. Looking overseas, and we're looking at the, you know, indices in Germany. And that index is trading up, you know, 0.95% or 229 points. You know, that's, you know, positive. I mean, you're seeing gains in retail and travel-related stocks. The FTSE's higher by 29 points or 0.28%. Energy stocks remain, you know, are showing outperformance as oil is kicking higher. The CAC in Paris is up 0.69%, supported by gains in luxury and energy stocks. And then you look over at Asia last night, and Asia was mainly green. The Nikkei jumped 1.38% with strength in technology shares. In Hong Kong, the Hang Seng actually finished down 0.2%. Semiconductors were positive, but financial stocks did weaken. And in China's market was higher by 0.16% on improving economic data that helped the sentiment. I mean, industrial profits posted their fastest growth in 6 months. Then we're looking at oil this morning, and oil it's trading about 1% higher. You got WTI at $95.03 a barrel. You got Brent at 106.37. I mean, the key catalyst is the overnight new proposal from Iran about a path forward in talks, but they just want you to reopen the Strait, and then they're never going to talk to you. So, you know, keeping the Strait of Hormuz closed by the U.S. is actually bringing them to the negotiating table. Before that, they were unwilling to negotiate. So I suspect that the Trump administration is not going to be opening up the Strait of Hormuz for Iranian ships anytime soon, but we'll have to wait and see. You know, let it play out. Okay, now we're talking about earnings, and we're talking about Domino's Pizza, ticker DPZ, David Paul Zebra. Stocks down 4.58%. They missed by 14 cents on lower revenue. Then you got Verizon VZ. That's up over 3%. They beat by 7 cents, but that was done on lower revenue, but that's okay. You know, you're looking up what's coming. You got Coca-Cola coming out tomorrow morning. EPS is 81 cents. Expected move is 2.96%. You got Corning, ticker GLW. Their EPS is 70 cents with an expected move of 11.84%. On the economic front, I mean, the key news is, you know, the key report, there's only one real report coming out today at 10:30, which is the Dallas Fed manufacturing survey. But, you know, the announcement that an inquiry into Jerome Powell has ended, you know, that's clearing the way for the Warsh confirmation. You know, if he is confirmed, he is expected to be rather dovish. if you look at his commentary, he's formulating a plan to be dovish, and by using an average that is, that doesn't correlate exactly with the core CPI data. So that would mean that his calculation would always show inflation cooler than it actually is, which would allow him the opportunity to lower interest rates, which is what he wants to do. But I think I don't think he'll do a rate cut, at his first meeting. They'll probably take him a meeting or two to get it under his belt. But, that's the key economic news that's coming out today. In terms of, news, on the tape this morning, Amazon's doing a deal with Oprah Winfrey to move her podcast, books, and products over to Amazon. That's positive for Amazon. China banned Meta Platforms' acquisition of AI startup Manus, saying national security grounds. Tesla, U.S. judge dismissed the OpenAI fraud claims lawsuit that Musk has against Sam Altman. In terms of merger news, Eli Lilly, LLY, to buy Ajax Therapeutics for up to $2.3 billion. United Airlines CEO says American Airlines turned down their merger bid. In terms of guidance, Verizon, ticker VZ, they raised their full year 2026 adjusted EPS to $4.95 to $4.99. Street estimate was $4.91, so that's a nice uptick. In terms of buyback, Domino's Pizza board agreed to add a $1 billion in share repurchasing program. Not enough. In terms of catalyst calls, Citibank tickers opens up a 30-day catalyst watch on Terex, TEREX. Let's move on to today's pick of the day. And, I'm going to go with Corning, ticker GLW, Grace Larry William. Earnings are out tomorrow morning. EPS is 70 cents. Expected move is 11.84%. Friday's call volume, 54,000. To put volume was 18,600. That's positive. And the open interest is 188K to 134K. That's positive. Major brokers have been raising price targets on the stock. They're mainly positive on it. So for me, if I can get in at 174.50, that's kind of what I'm looking at. I think it'll be a good trade. So yeah, GLW, Corning, that's my pick of the day. Okay, now let's take a look at the stocks that are hitting the tape over the last 30 minutes or so, see if we see anything hot hitting the tape. AIG announced Eric Anderson to become CEO effective June 1st. Here it is. United Airlines CEO Kirby says pursuit of talks with American have ended. AstraZeneca, AZN, they got an approval for one of their drugs in the U.S. Their earnings are coming out this week, I believe. Legend is going to pay $39 a share in cash as they're nearing that deal to buy out drug royalty firm XOMA, XOMA. Pony, P-O-N-I, Pony AI announced a compute platform built on NVIDIA's Drive system. Let's see what else we got. Cargill, there's rumors of a potential dividend cut, on the stock ticker CAG. Medtronic's MDT announced FDA granted breakthrough device designation to its Spear 9. That's all I'm seeing this morning. Okay, so we're going to move on. We're going to talk about our pick of the day from Friday, which was Verizon, ticker VZ. I mean, the fact of the matter is, the stock opened up at 47.06 and fell to 46.39. I said 46.45. I mean, and then you look at the stock this morning, it actually has already hit a high of 48.73. So that's well more than 1%. So Verizon, VZ was a winner on Friday. Good call all around. All right, traders, you guys know what to do. Let's go out there and let's make some green.